Welcome to Highway Herald, your roadmap to the latest in auto. Today we're diving into the world of electric vehicles, specifically focusing on BYD, the Chinese EV giant. Recently, BYD announced a bold plan to boost its stake in the European EV market by a staggering 500% in 2024. But, as with other Chinese EV manufacturers, the road to Europe is proving to be a bumpy one. The European Union is ramping up efforts to shield its own industries, making it increasingly clear that Chinese companies won't easily dominate this market. Stick with us as we delve into 5 reasons why Chinese EVs, once flooding Europe, are now gathering dust in warehouses. Starting with reason number 5, a whopping 10,000 BYD EVs are sitting idle in European warehouses. In recent years, BYD has been the world's fastest-growing EV manufacturer. Its rapid growth trajectory even led it to overtake Tesla as the world's leading EV maker in the last quarter of the previous year. However, this year hasn't kicked off as anticipated. The growth rate has slowed, partly due to the current economic downturn in China. But that's just one side of the coin. The other issue is overseas expansion. Despite impressive sales figures, BYD has struggled to carve out the market share it believes it deserves in Europe. Last year, BYD held a mere 1% of the European EV market. For 2024, the company has set an ambitious target to capture 5% of the total EV market share in Europe, which would translate to a jaw-dropping 500% growth in just a year. But given the current trends, this goal seems increasingly unlikely. Recent reports indicate that over 10,000 BYD EVs are languishing in European warehouses, unsold for various reasons. One major factor is the new protective measures implemented by the European Union to safeguard its own EV manufacturers. Additionally, we can't overlook the fact that BYD is currently grappling with significant quality issues with its products, which we'll discuss shortly. Reason number 4, the anti-subsidy probe. In the fast-paced world of the automotive industry, it's clear that European manufacturers are struggling to keep up with their rapidly expanding Chinese counterparts. Recent studies reveal that, on average, Chinese EVs are about 20% cheaper than their European equivalents. This price difference can be attributed to a variety of factors, including significantly lower labor costs. However, the real game changer is the expansion strategy employed by the Chinese government. For every EV sold in Europe, Chinese EV companies receive substantial subsidies from their government. This has resulted in an ever-increasing presence of Chinese automakers in Europe. A few years ago, Chinese EV companies held just 1% of the market. Now that figure has risen to 8%, and it's predicted to reach 15% by 2025, according to the European Car Association. In addition to Chinese companies, Western legacy carmakers also assemble their vehicles in China, leading to an increasing trade imbalance. This has prompted the European Commission to launch an anti-subsidy investigation. The aim of this probe is to combat Chinese export incentives and ensure that Chinese EV makers have a genuine competitive advantage, rather than the perceived artificial one. The investigation is set to conclude by November, and experts predict that the outcome will be higher import duties. Currently, the EU's import duty on EVs is 10%, but this could increase significantly. To put this into perspective, the US government imposed a 27.5% tariff on Chinese EVs a few years ago, effectively halting Chinese EV expansion in the US. Before we delve deeper, we'd appreciate it if you could subscribe to Highway Herald. Your support fuels our passion to create more content like this. Now, let's explore reason number 3, BYD's quality control challenges. BYD's growth over the past few years has been nothing short of remarkable, propelling it to become the 3rd most valuable automaker in the world, trailing only Tesla and Toyota. However, maintaining quality control amidst such rapid production growth is no easy feat. Let's face it, Chinese products have not always been synonymous with high quality, and electric cars are no exception. Like other Chinese automakers, BYD is grappling with significant quality issues, a major factor contributing to the 10,000 unsold EVs currently languishing in European warehouses. These quality issues have been reported worldwide. In Europe, problems such as mold have been found on BYD EVs even before they were unloaded from transport ships. This could be due to BYD's inexperience in managing the entire transport process, as it now operates its own car carriers. In Japan, the main issues are scratches, again pointing to poor transportation practices. Quality issues have also surfaced in other markets, where BYD cars have had the opportunity to prove their worth. For instance, in Thailand, where Chinese EVs dominate the market, there have been numerous complaints about peeling paint and plastics. Meanwhile, in Israel, there have been reports of BYD EVs deforming under the weight of roof racks. Unless BYD and other Chinese car makers can improve their quality control, their chances of success in markets like Europe, known for its discerning customers, are slim. After all, when it comes to cars and related products, quality is king. Reason number 2, the dilemma of Chinese-centric car makers. BYD, currently the world's leading EV maker, is facing a significant challenge: over-reliance on its domestic market, with 95% of its sales in China. Despite its impressive growth, BYD's expansion into foreign markets has been limited. It has a presence in certain Asian countries and Australia, but it holds just 1% of the total EV market in Europe. This overdependence on a single market can lead to instability, as evidenced last month when a typically slow February in China was slower than expected, showing a 31% slowdown compared to February 2023. This reflects the current stumbling Chinese economy, impacting many sectors, including the automotive market. BYD and other Chinese EV makers are urgently seeking new markets for expansion, but with recent developments in Europe, this could prove challenging. Interestingly, Chinese legacy car makers like MG and Geely, which have established decent global positions thanks to models powered by internal combustion engines, seem to have the best chances for growth. Reason number 1, European car makers are gearing up to reduce production costs. European automakers are grappling with the challenge of competing on price with Chinese EVs, which are currently significantly cheaper. In times of high inflation and limited financial power of EU citizens, relying solely on superior quality may not suffice. However, legacy automakers are now exploring various methods to reduce production costs. Renault and Stellantis are leading the charge in cutting production costs. Renault CEO Luca De Meo stated that cost reduction would be more feasible with smaller cars due to the opportunity to reduce battery size, which typically accounts for around 40% of an EV's costs. Stellantis CEO Carlos Tavares highlighted the significant drop in the prices of rare earth elements and other raw materials, a trend likely to continue, leading to further cost reductions. Ford, while not a European automaker, has a long-standing presence in this market. According to CEO Jim Farley, Ford has assembled a team to produce lower-cost EVs that can compete with Chinese automakers. He suggested that Ford might collaborate with another OEM, indicating that partnerships could be a viable strategy to compete with companies like BYD and reduce production costs. Other European automakers are also developing their cost reduction strategies. With recent actions by EU authorities, it seems unlikely that Chinese companies will easily penetrate this market, suggesting that domestic legacy automakers may eventually come out on top. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to Highway Herald to stay updated on the latest vehicle updates and upcoming videos. See you next time.